Today I'll be talking about the power of touch, how exactly to touch a woman, to turn her on without basically risking rejection. And if you follow this video up to the very end, I'll give you rules of touch that you don't want to break. You see, touch is just too powerful. One heck of a touch may be equal to 1,000 sweet seductive words. The reason why touch is such a powerful thing is because it's essential thing. Like, people feel you, and throughout our childhood we've been always touched. The people care about us, so there's that psychological resemblance. There's a way we have been conditioned, anchored. Like, when someone touches us, they are close to us, and basically, let's be blunt right here. It's hard for you to touch a person unless they are very close to you. So by touching, these are some of the things which are not said but implied. By touching, you imply that close bond with that person. You show them that you are very close to them. They are a bit special to you. It's something they will feel. And most importantly, the reason why touch is such a powerful thing as compared to, say, words. I usually have this illustration. Now, take touch as Ethernet cable. You know, the internet from the Ethernet cable and the one from Wi-Fi. Which one is faster? Which one is more effective? Obviously, the Ethernet, because there are less distractions and it goes right through your computer without distraction, like maybe air resistance and all that kind of stuff. Wireless, on the other hand, is not very effective because, you know, there's a barrier between you and the other person. But touch, you connect, and there's also a flow of energy from one person to another. When we touch, there's electric energy in our bodies, so once you touch someone, you connect in such a way. So this is such a powerful thing that you don't want to not know it. You don't want to mess up with it. Like I said, one heck of a touch may be equal to 1,000 sweet seductive words. Nothing can replace touch. We have to be blunt right there. Nothing ever replaces touch. It's such a powerful thing that you just have to learn how to do it. But you have to go right about it. And now I'm going to teach you the process of touch. Some guys better will want to skip stages and they will blow it up, and you know, they will get rejected. The woman will push you away, like, hey, keep your hands to yourself. But if you get any resistance, any barrier to touching, then just know you've broken certain rules. And I will show you the rules. I will show you the how of touching. Now, as a rule, you want to start with the non-sexual touches. Non-sexual touches are things like the upper back and like I will show you right here. Then after non-sexual touch, you go to sexual touch. You have to follow that process. Don't skip. Don't start sexual then non-sexual. As a rule, you want to start with the non-sexual parts, like her hands, her shoulders, all those parts that you say are not real sexual. Like, if you touch someone, they're okay, and basically people are okay with these parts. She's very okay. If you touch her hands, if you touch her the back of the neck, they're okay with it. So you take advantage of that. Now, now you may think, since they are not sexual parts, then if you touch, maybe you are not making a big impact. But I tell you what, you are really making a big impact, because they are equally sensitive, especially at the back of the neck. There are many nerves at the back of the neck. If you ever touch someone right there, you will notice a tremendous change, a sudden change in her breathing pattern. She'll start looking down, because, you know, once someone is getting horny, then she's really getting emotional, and when someone gets emotional, they have to look down, you know. So you will notice all these kind of things. She will start going horny if you touch at the back of her neck, and it's something allowed. No one objects it. So take advantage of that. Start with the non-sexual parts. Then the sexual ones are like the thighs, you know, those sexual parts, the boobs, those parts that maybe the lower back, her hips, all those parts. Now you don't want to touch those parts unless you first touch her non-sexual. It should be a process. Touch here, she says yes, then you go to another process. And this also creates a concept in psychology called consistency. I don't know whether you heard of, if you read about how to influence and influence people. That principle talks about in terms of the yes technique, like 3 yeses, then someone will agree with you automatically. So if you take someone through a series, especially women, through a series of small arguments, then she will eventually agree with something big that she shouldn't have agreed on. So here, if you touch her non-sexually and she's okay, tap her, she's okay, touch her somewhere at her hand. Then another thing right here, when you are touching, you want to ensure you are talking to her. Why? Here's why. Because once you are touching, you want to talk such that her conscious mind is taken by the words as you touch. It's kind of a distraction. But it's a rule you have to follow, by the way. If you are silent, then you'll be a person who is making touch official. And once you make it official, they will object you. But you want to obstruct her conscious mind. And you also want it to seem like an accident. Like you can touch her and you're like, are you sure? You touch her as you're asking such a question. So she thinks you are asking a question maybe to emphasize, but you're really doing something right there. You get? So it could be kind of hacking and maybe playful. You touch her, are you sure? Come on. As you're saying something. Now I'm going to take you the process of touch. Basically, there are 3 stages that you go through while you're touching. There's a temporary touch. Temporary touch is the very first step of touching. It's why you kind of touch her accidentally. You may be kind of ask, are you sure what you said? As you tap her hand. Come on. No, that's not true. As you're tapping her. It has to be kind of accidental, and it should be like for 1 and 2 seconds, not further than that. It should be as an accident. Out of the blue, Kempa says, are you sure? You can even tap her leg. No, that's not true. I don't think that's so. I think you're lying to me, isn't it? Do this kind of stuff. But be pretty fast. Like, before she thinks of you taking out your hand, it's already away. And then we go to the lingering touch. After the temporary is okay, after she's okay. Now, like I talked about the principle of consistency. If she's okay with the temporary, then she'll be okay with lingering. Now, lingering touch is where you rub her hands. You rub your hands towards near her. You rub your hands against her. This can take more seconds. You can just rub it. You're like, oh yeah, I understand that. Oh, that's really true. As you're talking, you want to distract her, but it takes more seconds. Kind of rubbing. Then take it away. Another thing to ensure is you remove your hand before she wants you to move. It could be kind of hacking. You don't want her to say, hey, take your hands off me. That's real bad, because if she starts rejecting, then she rejects even other things, because that flow of consistency works in negative and positive way. If you really get rejected, if they don't agree to your small things, then they will also not agree to other big things. So don't follow these rules. Ensure you don't break them. The final stage of touch is the permanent touch. Now, here is where you rest your hand. After she's okay with all these stages, now it will be alright, by the way. She won't object you. Your hand, you ensure you put your hands on her almost all the time. You just change it maybe from the neck to the upper back to the hips to the booty. Here it's permanent. And but if you follow the other stages, if you go through them, then there's no reason she will object you here. There's no reason for her to object you right here. Now I'm going to give you the unbreakable rules of touch. These are rules you don't want to break. Rule number 1: don't look where you're touching. Like I said, this makes it official and kind of weird. Like you're officially looking right there and touching is official, and she will also object. And besides, once you look in a place, there's a way you lead the other person to also look right there. And this is something you can use to your advantage. You ensure you are touching her neck as you are looking the other side. She also looked that side, and her attention will be taken that side. But if you look where you're touching, then she will look there and possibly object you, because you'll be making things very official. Rule number 2 is don't skip the stages. Ensure it's non-sexual then sexual, and ensure all this process, like tap, you first use the accidental touch, then you go to lingering touch, then permanent touch. Don't start permanent without the other stages. Otherwise, you come off as a guy who is touchy. Yeah. And I've had those issues. Those times when I was just learning this stuff, I used to skip certain stages. But here is how to know that you have skipped a stage. When you get objection, when she says, "Can't you talk without touching me?" It means perhaps you have skipped a stage. Maybe you need to start with tap and you went to lingering, or maybe skip these 2 stages and it went permanent. There she will object you. And 3, don't remain silent while you're touching her. We want your words to distract her as you touch. Now that has been our video about the power touch. It's KJ Green, and we still have more stuff right here. So just subscribe if you really enjoy my videos, and we have more advanced, powerful techniques of seduction that will reveal you later in time to come.